What's going on, fight fans, and welcome back to the Ugly Truth Fight Picks podcast. I am Ryan Jarrell, and you know who that is, Joseph Ugly Man Holmes. And Joseph, we have a monster card this weekend, UFC 283, two title fights, so many really great matchups to break down. So let's dive right in and start with that main event. It's for the now vacant light heavyweight championship of the world. And Glover Teixeira, the veteran, the former champion, he is your underdog, plus 115, plus 120, depending on where you go. So that means Jamal Hill is your favorite, minus 130. How do you see this fight playing out? Who do you feel like is going to get their hand raised and become the new champ?
It's hard to bet against Jamal Hill, bro. It's really, really hard. I like him a lot. He has like stopping power. He's the new up and coming, superstar potentially. I like Jamal Hill a whole lot. I probably would not bet against him. Glover is the underdog, and he has a lot of experience, and he's faced everyone, basically everyone who's good in that division. Glover has fought, so he can absolutely win. I mean, but again, that's just hard, dude. That's hard.
I mean, do you feel like Jamal's going to have to keep this fight on the feet to win? Because, I mean, if this goes to the ground, I think just from what we know of Glover Teixeira's pedigree and jiu-jitsu, I would feel like Jamal Hill would be in quite a bit of trouble. Do you feel like this is a fight where Hill has to keep this on the feet?
I don't think he has to. I think Jamal Hill is very explosive. I think he's shown in the past also he does have a ground game, at least a top side ground game I've seen from him. But I just think he's super explosive. I don't know if Glover's going to be able to just take him down as much as he wants to.
Okay. I mean, I got to be honest too. So I always try and stay objective, right? I mean, unless I'm watching you fight, I'm always going to be cheering for you, right? But Glover Teixeira, he has just been so nice to me. He's so generous with his time. I've been fortunate enough to do a few interviews with him, so I can't help it. I'm cheering for Glover here, especially being as advanced of an age as he is for this sport. It's really incredible to see him, 43 years old, almost 44, still competing for titles.
No, I love Glover. I think he's awesome too. And I think he's shown a lot. He could make it to the Hall of Fame as well. I would not be surprised if he does. But I also just think it's just not really his time anymore to be the best. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are dirty at the light heavyweight division. You know what I mean? And freaking huge and like not playing around. So I don't know. I think it could be Jamal Hill's time. I've been very impressed, but also I suck at picking fights. So
Well, don't say that. Don't say that. We want people coming
I
back.
know you 2 for 5 last week, dude. I'm like shocked, bro. Like what? So
Hey, that's the fight game. You never know what's going to happen when they close those octagon doors. You just never know. That's why we love the sport so much. So either way, this is a main event. If you're a hardcore fan, you cannot miss it. And the
yeah.
co-main event, I mean, equally as good. This is the fourth installment for these two, Davison Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno. And Moreno actually is the favorite, minus 120. Figueiredo plus 100 is your dog. And you know what I'm really intrigued about, Joseph? Obviously, we won't go down the whole rabbit hole of what's going on with James Krause and Glory MMA, but I just wonder how much that's going to affect Moreno here for this fight. Like, has he been able to get the necessary training he needs to prepare for Figueiredo? I just wonder that question, if it's thrown his camp off whack at all. Do you feel like, if so, that could play a factor in this fight? And just how do you see this fourth fight going?
Well, I don't know how much he had invested into Krause, so I can't really say. I could understand what he went through with the whole shift of Glory MMA and stuff, but he's a professional, man. He's as professional as it gets, and he's with the best management agency in the world, Iridium Sports Management Agency. So I'm sure they took care of him, got him with the right coaches. Moreno has all the skills. I think all he needed was a great coach to give him a game plan to win, and I'm for certain that he got that. I thought I heard he was with. Dang, I can't remember who I was talking about. Talking to Tim Elliott with about Moreno, about who he ended up with after that scenario. So I'm sure he found the right coaches to get the game plan. I think he'll do just fine. Moreno's world class.
Ultimately, do you think this fight goes the distance? How do you see it finishing?
You know, it might. You know, I would like to say Moreno gets the finish with that left kick that he got on Kaikara France here recently. I think that weapon's dangerous for him, and I don't think he utilized it much for Figueroa. Maybe he tries it this time.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see this fourth installment. Who knows? We're probably going to see number 5 and number 6 at some point later on this year. These two just keep finding a way to match up against one another for the title. Let's keep it moving. I'm really excited about this fight between Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny. But when I look at the odds, it's kind of crazy. Magny's a huge underdog, plus 350. Gilbert Burns minus 450 is your favorite. And, you know, with what we saw, Neil Magny, he had that big win over Daniel Rodriguez his last time out. I mean, if you're going to tell me that I can get him for that kind of money, I'm going to take a chance on Neil Magny. I don't know that he wins the fight, but if he does pull off, I would say it would be a small upset. You could really
Yeah.
cash in big here. How do you see this fight going?
I could absolutely see them going decision with a fight of the night bonus for sure. Those are two hungry guys for sure, and both of them, you know, kind of like this in their careers, you know, have their chance and then kind of, you know, come back down, and then so man, I can see Neil making that having the upset. I could absolutely see that, bro. He's beat some really good guys recently. I think Gilbert's coming off a loss against uh freaking he just fought recently.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
Kamzat?
He had
Kamzat?
Kamzat
Yeah,
Chimaev.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think Neil pulls that off, brother, and upsets that for sure.
Okay.
He plays so safe. He's so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he utilizes that long reach very good inside of the cage as well. So intriguing bout right there. Jessica Andrade, Lauren Murphy, and this was another
ooh,
one that I mean, talk about the odds being quite a far apart from one another. I expected this to be a little bit closer. Lauren Murphy is a pretty big underdog, plus 360. Jessica Andrade, massive favorite, minus 460. Do you
I'm
agree with
not.
that, or do you feel like this should be a little bit closer?
No, no, I 100% agree with that. Andrade is she's nasty. She could smash some dudes in her weight class. So Andrade is dirty. I don't know if that's the fight for Lauren, man. I'm sorry, but I
Okay.
absolutely proud. But that's I think Lauren's gonna do well. She put on a good fight against who she fight last? One of the recent or one of the champs, right? Was it Shevchenko? She fought last.
Well, she got a win over Misha Tate recently, and then she lost in the fourth round to Valentina prior to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She did well against Shevchenko for a while too. She didn't really do any damage on Shevchenko, but she was defending things, and she did well. So I think that she could do the same as far as like the wrestling defense, because Andrade is definitely going to bring it and try and throw her in the air. But I think Andrade still wins that for sure.
Okay. Johnny Walker, Paul Craig. This one's a little bit closer. Johnny Walker is your favorite, minus 190. Paul Craig, plus 165. Back up to the light heavyweight division. How do you see this fight playing out?
I think Paul could pull that off. I don't think Johnny's been doing too well lately. And Johnny. I mean, Paul's been very consistent in my opinion. I think Craig could pull that off.
Yeah, Johnny, he won his last fight over Iwan Kutalaba. Prior to that, he lost to Jamal Hill and Thiago Santos. So high level competition there. And Paul Craig, his last time actually out was a UD loss to Volkan Ozdemir. So a little surprising there. I thought maybe going into that, him having a little bit more momentum, winning so many in a row, he was going to get another win there. But Volkan Ozdemir, always a tough game opponent. But
Yeah,
that right there
right.
is a fight where I think someone could get their lights put out. Would you agree that this could be a finish?
I don't see Craig knocking him out. I could see him choking him. I could absolutely see him choking him or something like that, taking his back. Um, but I don't think Johnny Walker is going to get one of those, crazy knockouts that he looks for.
Yeah. Well, either way, that's a nice fight to kick off the main card. And your main
It's,
event of the undercard, we got a legend back in there, Shogun Hua against Igor Potiera. And Shogun is actually the dog here, plus 175. Igor minus 205 is the favorite. And I was a little bit surprised by that because I know Shogun's older and Igor is much younger, but I haven't been terribly impressed by him. I guess maybe just the old fan in me is hoping that Shogun can go off with a win here. Do you think he can get it done?
man, I'm gonna hope he can, man. He's paved the way for us guys who are out here trying to do it, man. And I would love to see Shogun, be Shogun that we all, I'd love to get that nostalgia feeling from watching that fight. But hopefully they're not throwing him to the wolves. Like you said, I haven't been super impressed by him either, by Igor either. So
Do you anticipate was this going to be Shogun's last fight, or do you think the UFC will bring him back for one more?
if he has a good showing, I'd love to keep seeing him. I don't know what he wants though. He could. Is this a contracted fight, like last on his contract or something?
I think so. I think that's the case. This is his last fight.
Yeah, yeah. I hope they bring him back. I don't want to see the end of him. I just want to see better matchups between guys like him. Like put him with other guys like him. Bring him back for a super fight with GSP, or put them in that grappling stuff they're doing with Fury. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm with it. They should have like a whole separate division for guys that are legends that can no longer, win the belt, but fans still want to see them in there competing.
Yeah, I don't want to see him get freaking smoked by one of these young up and coming guys. Freak that. It's not even fun to watch.
Speaking of young and upcoming guys, Gregory Rodriguez and Bruno Ferreira. Gregory Rodriguez has got a lot of power. I'm really excited to see him back in there. He's a very big favorite, minus 350. Bruno is your dog, plus 285. I'm taking Gregory Rodriguez to the bank. I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done early.
Oh, dude, he's getting it done. It's just a matter of time. Gregory Rodriguez is a bad dude, man. It sucks he's in my division, man.
Do you think it's just a matter of time before we see him competing at the top of the division, or do you feel like he might be one of those guys that kind of is a gatekeeper, so to speak?
Oh no, I don't see him being a gatekeeper. Who has he lost to?
Oh, he's 13-4. Let me pull it up right here. It's been a little while since I've seen him lose. Yeah, his last loss was to Armin Petrosian at the beginning of 2022. That was a split decision too. He went on and beat Julian Marquez and Chidi Njokuani after that. So yeah, he
Yeah,
hasn't done a whole lot of losing.
he's a bad dude, man. I don't see him. No, he's not gatekeeping nothing. I'd love to see him against the champ. I would love to see him get there. I don't know what he wants. Also, like I said before, I don't know if he wants to play like a slow, under the radar type thing, because I don't think he talks very much. Does he speak English?
I think he does, but it's minimally. I don't think he's very fluent.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see him want the belt because he's a scary guy, man. He has a lot of skills, and he's been in some wars too. So, shoot, he needs to get away from me. Go up there. Let me see you later. After I do what I gotta do. Let me see you later.
You see him down the line. Okay. Well, we'll
Yeah,
keep it moving here. A lot of great fights still to get to. Thiago Moises back in action. Another big favorite here, minus 335. Mel Quizal Costa. Man, that's a difficult name to pronounce. Plus 275 is your dog. I mean, I think from what we've seen from Thiago Moises in the past, this is his
yeah,
fight to lose.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
So we're both on the same page there with Thiago.
I agree with that one.
Okay. Well, what the first Bonfim brother here? We're going to talk about Gabriel Bonfim. He's going to be taking on Monir Lazez. Bonfim is a small favorite, minus 173. Lazez plus 150 is your dog. Do you feel like there's some good money on Gabriel Bonfim to win here, or do you think Lazez could pull the small upset?
I don't know too much about these guys, honestly. These ones in particular, so I probably wouldn't even. I wouldn't mess with that one. I feel like it's too close. It's not really worth. It's not really worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when you get in those, the bigger weight classes, I mean, 170 is a bigger weight class, right? In comparison to like the flyweights, the power translates a lot more. So one mistake, someone could get finished. So yeah, I think with the odds this close to, I'm staying away from this one. Now this next fight, I'm definitely not staying away from. I wouldn't go put a lot of money on it, but I would definitely slide this guy into one of my DraftKings lineups. It's the biggest favorite on the card. Jalton Jr. minus 900 favorite. Shamil Abdurakhimov plus 600 is your dog. I don't think you need to overthink this one. I think you go with Jalton Jr. to get the win and get it done fast.
Holy cow. Dude, that's a huge gap right there, bro. Why are they even making this fight?
Yeah, I think maybe the UFC sees something in Jelton that they want to grow and make maybe a star out of this kid.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, dude. That's insane. Yeah. Put some money on there, get a little check, just boost up your, however that shit works. Just but that definitely needs to go on your picks.
For sure, for sure. Cody Stamen and Luan Lacerda is our next fight. Cody Stamen, the veteran fighter, is the favorite, minus 375. Luan Lacerda plus 310 is your dog. Do you have any thoughts on this matchup?
I like Cody. Very just sound in his, in his wrestling game. So you can never go wrong with that. You know what I mean? He's probably the safe pick there as well.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see Cody Stamen get in there and compete. A veteran fighter, been in there with some of the best in the division. Another young upstart, Terrence McKinney, is back in action. He's taking on Ismail Bonfim, so the other Bonfim brother. And this one is really, really close. McKinney is a small favorite, minus 125. Ismail Bonfim is the dog, plus 106. And when I was talking to my buddy Garrett Kerman the other day, he's the fight analyst, and he knows all these fighters so well and studies them and understands, where they excel at, maybe if they have a deficiency or whatnot. And he really told me that he thinks if McKinney doesn't clip him and hurt him in the first round, that Ismail Bonfim is going to come on strong and win the fight late. Do you know enough about Ismail to agree or disagree? And what do you think we're going to see out of Terrence McKinney in there?
I could agree with what he's saying because McKinney does kind of slow down, but he's such an aggressive, explosive guy that he's super dangerous at the beginning. But no, I think Bonfim absolutely could turn things around in the end if McKinney doesn't, get a good pace that he can keep for a while going, for sure. But McKinney's dangerous, man. I like McKinney a lot. He has a lot of stopping power, a lot of explosive, fast twitch fibers going on. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, and he comes out so strong. He looks to get everyone out of there early in the first minute of the first round. So we'll see if he tries to do the same type of game plan and go out there and finish his opponent early, or if maybe he's a little bit more measured in this fight with Ismail Bonfim. Let's move up to the welterweight division. Warley Alves and Nicholas Dalby. And this is another close one, man. I think this one could go either way. Both of these guys have finishing capability, but Dalby is your dog, plus 105. Warley Alves, minus 125 is your favorite. What are your thoughts on this one, Joseph?
I like Alvy, actually. Um, I'd say go for the underdog on that one. I think he has a great chance of making it happen.
So you actually think, because Dalby's the dog, you feel like, with him being a small dog, he could pull off a little more.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think he could pull off an upset on that one for sure. I think it's safe to say for that one.
Okay. All right. Well, again, so some of these fights are really close with the odds, and then you have the big discrepancies that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Here's another one, massive discrepancy. Zahar Farin dos Santos plus 420 underdog against Josian Nunez minus 550 is your favorite. Do you feel like Zahar Farin dos Santos can shock the world and get an upset here, or is this Nunez's fight to lose?
I can't put the face to these. What's Santa? What's the first guy's name?
Oh, there are a couple of ladies. So, and this is a featherweight bout. So, Josiane Nunez, she's 9-1. She's Brazilian. She's taken on Zara Farin. She's 6-4. So, just when you look at the records and Nunez's finishing capability, I feel like that's why the odds are so stacked in her favor.
Yeah, no, I don't think you go for the underdog on that one at all. But I don't know too much about these two ladies, but yeah, I think you stick with the favorite on that one.
Yeah, Vegas knows what they're doing. They have a lot of these lines right, and that's why the house usually always wins. One more fight to dive into here. We motored right through all 15 on this UFC 283 card, and that's Daniel Marcos and Simon Oliveira. Daniel Marcos is undefeated, but he's your underdog here, plus 130. Simon Oliveira minus 150 is the favorite. And I'm actually really intrigued about this one, Joseph, because this will be your first fight of the night, and I think it's going to kick UFC 283 off with a bang. I think both of these guys are really highly skilled, and it's going to come down to who can implement their style in there. Do you have a thought on this fight, or do you not really know much about one guy or the other?
I would not go against an undefeated fighter, that's for sure. So I'm going for the underdog on that one. I think it's safe to say that he can do what it takes because he's done what it takes every fight up until now. So
Simon Oliveira, 18-4. So he's a very impressive record. But Daniel Marcos, 13-0. So yeah, he hasn't lost yet, and he's looked really good. I mean, he beat a very game Brandon Lewis in his contender series debut. That was in September of last year. So now he's officially making his UFC debut. Really excited for this one. Joseph, when you look at the card in general, give me a parlay. What do you feel like you think could hit on here if you wanted to go with a safe parlay to maybe win some money?
a safe one would be our two favorites that we just named. So last fight and then the big time favorite. Right? I can't remember their names right now. Last fight favorite and then the big time favorite, like plus 900.
Oh yeah. Well, Jalton Jr., the heavyweight, is minus 900 as your favorites. He's massive favorite. And then you're thinking Josiane Nunez. You throw her in there.
Yeah. And then I'd probably go Paul Craig for the upset.
Okay,
And then the underdog on that one, right?
a
And
small
then
underdog.
so that'd be my three. That'd actually probably be my three.
You three. Okay, and then you throw Glover in there too, right?
Nah, I don't think I'm throwing Glover on that one. I definitely go. I mean, if that one's not safe anymore, you know what I mean? You start betting on that fight, you're no longer betting safe because that's hard.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Well, either way, I am so excited for UFC 283. Two title fights, 15 great fights, top to bottom. Where are you watching the card at? You staying home watching it with your girl, or you going out anywhere?
My girl's gonna be working with Saturday. Honestly, I haven't decided yet, but I'm watching it somewhere. Last week I was in Houston. I watched it at a good friend of mine's house, and I did like a whole live stream of it and everything. So it was awesome. So this week I'll figure something out, but I'm definitely watching it.
Yeah, I won't be missing this card at all. Well, if you haven't yet, please go to the All Access MMA YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and we will be back in February. We've got a lot of fights to talk about in February. There's a card every weekend, so 4 events coming your way in February. So until then, for Joseph, I am Ryan, and we will see you guys next time.